Aboard!
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Okay, we are in an old train tunnel here looking at various cars for the train system. There's Jim waving at us.
Look at the maintenance cars.
Here's a look inside of one of the maintenance cars. This is actually a New York City Transit pump number 56 car. This was in service from 1932 to 1986. This is the Long Island Railroad caboose, commissioned in it ran in 1961.
And this is one of the newer trains that Greg and I have ridden on. Watch your step. This is one of the newer trains that we rode on. Greg could pan the, you can kind of see the seat configuration. These are not on the ones we've ridden on, but the poles are. Most of the stuff is the same. This is a little bit older but newer train compared to some of the others, which Greg will probably show you as we go through the cars.
This is a 1961 car. We're going to go in and take a look here.
These are the ones I remember. Far Rockaway.
Yeah, but sit, because I'm getting up. You can sit and reach it. Watch out.
This is how you used to ride the subway.
Oh, look, write the names of two
Very
of these
few bars
finalists
that
on
you had the
postcard.
pole in the
Only one
middle,
postcard per voter allowed.
but you had handles. Now they have bars,
You get to choose this
cross that you
subway.
hold on to. This is ridden many of these subways, and this is how they changed to tell you where they were going. Okay, let's move on to another car. Stop. This is one of the really older cars. I think I rode on one of these, but I don't remember. But I did ride on several of the other old cars. Greg can pan and show you. They had ceiling fans. These had some of the bars. They've kind of changed back and forth from bars to handles. The seat is woven, so it's pretty old. Seat configurations, as you see, have changed. Come this way. They've got handles here on these seats. The aisles are narrower. There's more seats. Configuration's different. They've got this. I've sat on many of these woven seats. They don't last very long. They're not very sturdy. But this is really cool. And of course, all the advertisements for different things, and you can see some of the old signs and the prices. Now everything's digital, but they used to have to roll everything. Roll the signs. It's funny, it's an emergency bench, I guess. And then they keep that door locked. Not sure why. Interesting. Let's try another car. This car is from 1917. You can see the handles. The bar in the middle. The woven seats again. A little different configuration. Trains have evolved over time. So let's try another car. This car said it was 1908, I believe, and rebuilt in 1936. You can probably tell by the paint. Got a new coat of paint. They used the trains for quite a while until they're no longer serviceable. I'm sure they probably take parts out of them. These have, instead of ceiling fans, they have fans up at the top to circulate the air. Of course, back then there was no air conditioning. You can imagine riding to work on these. Same type of seat configuration. There was even seats in these little compartments up front where people could sit, two people could sit, watch out the window, watch out the front. Very interesting. Okay, let's move to another car. T7. This train's from 1907. As you can see, open configuration again. I don't think they had any electronic doors. You see the old things, straps again, movable, so you can move them kind of wherever you want. This is how you stop the train. This is also on the buses, or used to be. When you pull the thing, it makes a chime and the bus stops at the next bus stop. Engineer would sit here to ride the train. Very interesting. Sliding door for the outside. Walk this way to the end. You can see same type of configuration. Seats missing, they put a board. See how not very durable. This is this kind of seats they used in the old cars. My father had a 53 Chevy that had these kind of seats in them. They're not very durable, but that was all they had back then. Leather was expensive. It's pretty cool. And we'll go out this way and go to the other side. On the old signs they used to have, and one of the train signals that they used. It's very interesting. Kind of see that.
And we'll move on.
These have straps. They move, and that's what they hold on to. Again, not very durable. Brake. Stop the train. Of course, we aren't going anywhere. One big sliding door. Small car. Very interesting. Let's go on to another one. This is the old BMT line. Train that went to Coney Island from 1915 to 2015. Some of the trains, like I said, they've used for quite a while. And then eventually, as they get new trains, they shut the old ones down. Okay, let's go. Here comes some school. 7. This train's from 1907. As you can see, open configuration again. I don't think they had any electronic doors. You see the old things, straps again, movable, so you can move them kind of wherever you want. This is how you stop the train. This is also on the buses, or used to be. When you pull the thing, it makes a chime and the bus stops at the next bus stop. Engineer would sit here to ride the train. Very interesting. Sliding door for the outside. Walk this way to the end. You can see same type of configuration. Seats missing, they put a board. See how not very durable. This is this kind of seats they used in the old cars. My father had a 53 Chevy that had these kind of seats in them. They're not very durable, but that was all they had back then. Leather was expensive. It's pretty cool. And we'll go out this way and go to the other side. The bottom of the train, it's in the front and the back. The wheels, the motor, the runs the train. This was used from 1930 to 1940. It's called a motor truck. It's very interesting. Gears. The train car sits on top of these. There's one in the front and the back. And there should be hooks that hook on so they can hook on to the next car. So let's move on to some other cars. Train cars from 1949. It's also a Coney Island line. Different thing. There's not as many seats, more standing room. The cars are bigger than the older cars are. And they've got these kind of handles now. And you can see the seat configuration.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, many rides, 5 cents on Tuesday.
1949. All right, we'll move on to the next car. Let's go. train is from 1938, rebuilt in 1947. I've ridden on a few of these too. Come in, watch your step. As you can see, it also has the woven seats. Same configuration as some. Very little seating. They get more standing room because more and more people. You get more people standing than you can sitting. You can see the small configurations, 1 seat, 2 seat. This is where the conductor came. Emergency stop. And it had fans up at the top, as you can see, to cool the people. We'll go down this end and go out the other side. This is a Queens Forest Hills train. I've ridden on a couple of these. Pretty cool. You can see the old signs. No smoking, no spitting, no throwing papers, but people didn't listen. Here's one of the old maps of the train, which I think is really cool. Kind of gives you the idea. Not a lot has changed, but it has. They've added a few new lines, a few new stops. The subway system is ever evolving for ever evolving New Yorkers. Let's go across the way to a couple other older trains. Hi, this is from 1950. I don't remember running on any of these. I probably have, since I lived in New York from the time I was born in 1954 to about 1968. So I'm sure I've probably ridden on these. I know I have. I could tell by the round windows. As you can see, they went round instead of long. Just a little bit different configuration. Cloth seats. Wide aisles for standing. Poles up here now. And poles here. So this actually has fans, no air conditioning, and the fans circulate the air this way. So this is pretty cool. Okay, let's go up to another couple of cars, then the other side, and then we'll be pretty well done. This train is from 1948, a little older. Ceiling fans, not in the ceiling, but fans, fluorescent lighting, long windows. This was the 149th Street shuttle train, looks like. Same configuration, woven seats. Here's another map that's a little older, but you know, still kind of the same configuration.
So now we have handholds.
All right, let's move on to a couple more cars and we're almost done. This is from 1932, 1933. I've ridden on many of these trains to Coney Island and around Manhattan. As you can see,
this train is marked as special because during the holiday season, every Sunday from Thanksgiving to New Year's Day, we take these trains out and we go for rides. And they go between Forest Hills and House and Lafayette Street. Yeah.
This is very
They
interesting.
have speakers. And this train car from 1932 was not a regular train car. This was an experimental train car. So this is actually the first time that they were experimenting with speakers in the subway. If you guys think that conductors are difficult to understand today, imagine what it sounded like in the 1930s. This is the only train car from that era of time that has speakers, because that experiment really failed miserably. Yeah?
What's different from the train, from this train is that this train doesn't have maps.
Right. Yeah, I don't see any maps on this train. Yeah, and if we were to see a map on this train, it would actually be pretty similar to what the map looks like today. Pretty much everything that was built in the New York City subway was built by the 1930s. There's a couple exceptions, like the 7 line, or like the expansion that just happened on the 7 line this year. But for the most part, pretty much everything we had in New York was built by the 1930s. Now guys, I want to show us one more train car before I
The old Flushing line, and rode this train many times, as you can see. Main Street Flushing to Times Square, because Times Square was the last stop. They now added the Hudson Bay line, or station. It's brand new, said they was added this year. So I'm pretty excited about that. This is the train I rode the whole time, the 7 line. Greg's been on it multiple times. But this is the train configuration I used to ride all the time. Whenever I went into the city or anything, my friend Johnny and I used to go to the Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty. We went all over Manhattan. And this is a train we had to take to Times Square or Grand Central to catch any of the other trains. So this is pretty cool. Looks just like I remember it. So, all right, well, we're going to get out and we're going to go upstairs and see some more sights. All right, thanks for joining us on these old train cars. This is a piece of history and it's very cool. All right, let's go.